Beat up. I should really prep my minute, huh?
Well, I like to always start by saying hi.
Hi. How are you? How are we?
Oh, we are good.
We are good.
We are very cozy.
Yeah, you look cozy. We're
You're
cozy.
cozy too. I like that
Yeah.
we're both sweatshirting.
This is my Galentine's outfit.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and I'm going to wear it either with these jeans or a darker wash and then a white ankle-heeled booty.
Oh, that's going to be great.
It's real cute.
I want some white ankle boots.
I got mine on Amazon. I don't know if I would recommend them.
Okay.
They just, you can tell they're cheap.
Oh.
But they were cheap.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, congratulations. You look fantastic.
Thank you. I mean, I love that sweatsuit. Oh
I know. It's so good.
it's an actual sweatsuit, everyone.
It is,
for those only joining us.
It's a real sweatsuit. It's so good.
so good.
Shall we begin?
We shall. Hello, Wisconsin. Sorry. It felt right.
That was good. It was good.
It felt right.
It was right.
Oh my God. Thank you. Well, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Book Watchers.
Good job. We're getting there. This is episode 4.
Episode
Still
4.
figuring
well,
it out.
my script had it backwards. I had my name first, and I was like, I don't know if that makes sense. So welcome, everyone, to episode 4 of Book Watchers. This is a podcast where we watch books. And by that, we mean we dive into the differences between novels and their screen adaptations.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
We're really getting it.
We're letting the language live in our bones.
Yes, exactly.
There's actually, there is a book that was for young adults called Bones and All, which it's a movie that Timothée Chalamet was in. That's like a horror movie about cannibalism.
Wow. Do you remember Lovely Bones?
I do remember Lovely Bones.
That was a movie too.
Do you remember Star Wars?
We're on the bone theme, Chelsea. Take the sass outside, okay?
You're right. I'm sorry. All right. Well, anyway, I'm Chelsea.
I'm Ariel.
And we're ugly.
No, I'm very pretty.
Today, you're right. I said it wrong. Today, we're covering Uglies.
There you go.
That's what I meant to say.
There you go.
That's what I meant.
So Freudian slip.
Yeah, oops. So, Uglies is a novel, of the first of 3, I believe. I believe it was a trilogy written by Scott Westerfeld, incredible dystopian sci-fi writer, 2005.
Oh, okay.
About 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the movie just came out in 2024, I believe. Mm-hmm. I would argue it came out about 15 years too late for the hype.
Yes, you had said that when it first came out. You're like, wow, this should have happened a long time ago.
They'd been telling us they is, I don't know, any production, Netflix, like for years. They'd been like, oh, we're going to do Uglies. And then they just didn't do it. And I think by the time they did it, they had lost some of the momentum and hype. And I don't know, maybe the ability to cast well.
I didn't know Uglies was a book. I had never heard of it.
You should read them.
Yeah.
So it goes Uglies, Pretties, Extras, Specials. So there's 4. There's at least 4.
Yeah, I didn't even know
Or is
it
it Specials,
existed.
Extras?
I can tell you.
Please tell me.
Uglies, Pretties, Specials, Extras.
Okay, so I'd reverse them. I
And
think I said
then
extra
there's
specials.
another series, Imposters.
Oh.
Which is Imposters, Shatter City, Mirror's Edge, Youngbloods. Then there's another book that's Shay's story. And then there's another one that's called Uglies, Cutters.
That might be the doctors who like cut into them?
Oh, interesting.
Well.
I'm afraid to put the word cutters into my
Yeah, I'd be scared too.
screen.
Well, let's just talk about the book.
Yeah.
My synopsis is more of the book rather than the movie. The movie did take some liberties with how they did some stuff. And so I want to make sure I'm giving you the unadulterated story.
The canon.
Right. So we are in a time far into the future where humanity, Rusties, basically wiped itself out due to greed and the hunt for fossil fuels. It was determined that the root of this issue was actually due to physical differences and the fact that we couldn't get along because we didn't look-alike, and we thought people were ugly and less than, etc. And the few scientists who survived designed a new world order. On your 16th birthday, you undergo an operation where you are made pretty. And pretty is not in the eye of the beholder. It is like you slap an Instagram filter on everybody's face. Like, you're an identical pretty. There's no one who's, like, prettier than you. The way, like, you know, you've got the Capitol in the Hunger Games, whatever. Our heroine, Tally Youngblood, cannot wait to be pretty. However, her friend Shay tells her about an alternative society named The Smoke, run by the mysterious David. Tally refuses to join Shay as she is desperate to join her best friend Paris, spelled Peris.
I saw that on the subtitles. Yep.
However, an area called Special Circumstances denies Tally her surgery until she can lead them to the Smoke. She makes the journey by herself, causes suspicion, and learns that the surgery doesn't just change you physically, it is altering your brain to make you conform, make you not have thoughts of your own. You're no longer jealous. You're no longer, like, all these things that, like, come with being human wiped out through a little lesion that they just kind of insert onto your brain. And we know that because David's parents are doctors who used to do this surgery. And so he's a child born outside of the city, which is, like,
that's a big deal.
Crazy. So armed with this information, she destroys this pendant she was given to be her call to Special Circumstances. Unfortunately, they kind of prepared for that, and it sets the pendant off anyway and alerts Special Circumstances, a.k.a. Dr. Cable, a.k.a. Laverne Cox, to come and get them. And so they destroy the Smoke. Everyone except Tally and David are kidnapped. And Tally and David create a plan to rescue the Smokies. That's what they're called.
Yes.
But not before Shay is turned pretty. I know. Additionally, Tally's deception is exposed in this rescue mission. To make amends, she agrees to undergo the surgery to be pretty and be the test subject for the cure. Cliffhanger.
We were all watching it, and that happened, and we went, "Oh no!"
And they haven't. I mean, I don't even know if they're making. They must be making
they
Pretties.
Have to.
Let's
they
see,
have to be.
Pretties, Netflix. If they don't,
even me and my sister, who we don't do anything mainstream, we were like, exactly. We were like, we gotta watch it. We gotta see what happens. I need to know what happens.
And imagine, like, reading that and closing that book and not having Pretties next.
Yeah, you're upset that you don't know what happens at the end of Giver, but you're.
But I know what happens at the end of the series. I've gotten all 4 of them.
Yeah, but
you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Of these too.
Netflix has yet to reveal as of October 24 if they're going to do a sequel, which pisses me off.
You know what that makes me think?
What?
It didn't make as much money as they wanted.
Well, I've watched it twice.
Because if it did really well, they would be like, duh, no brainer.
Yeah.
But if it didn't do really well, and that's an assumption. But
I mean, most people I know that really enjoyed the book hated this movie.
That's what you said. And your synopsis sounded accurate.
Yes, there are some things, once we get through the changes, it'll be like, oh, yeah, that is weird. Or like when I mentioned things that they like included that were not a thing at all, you'll be like, oh, okay. But like, in the long run, as with most adaptations, some of this is pretty insignificant.
Okay.
Like, they changed it to move the plot forward or to make you feel something or to up the ante more than it already is.
Okay.
But I will say, like, at 13 years old, this book was, along with Twilight, like, altered my brain chemistry. Twilight got me into romantasy. This got me into dystopian literature.
Yeah.
Something The Giver had tried and failed to do. But maybe The Giver just was my gateway drug into Uglies.
Maybe The Giver you weren't ready for yet.
I don't think I was, and I think I'm maybe ready now.
Probably most adolescents would not be ready for that.
No, I was actually the proper age. When you'd be giving.
Yeah, exactly. So really, if you're not getting it by age 12, the society doesn't work. Yep.
But I'm also fully ready to admit I don't know the last time I had read the book until this past week.
Uglies, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe not since it came out. Okay. Or maybe one reread of the entire series. I know I owned them.
Yeah.
Like, where are all my books?
They're in my storage unit. Yeah.
But so I watched Uglies a couple months ago at this point, just because I was like, whatever, Netflix put it out. I have the day off of work. Who cares? And I cried during it. I cried during everything though, so I probably shouldn't.
You cry a lot.
It's a bad scale.
Meter,
Yeah. But I like walked away. I was like, I wonder why people hated that so much. And unfortunately, one of the reasons I think is Joey King. I think she is a very divisive person in film and media. I think people don't really like her. I think
is that on talent or does she have any issues?
I think it's just she like feels like she's everywhere, like you said.
Chelsea's like, she's like, you know, Joey King's not really in that much. I'm like, I feel like Joey King is. I'm always hearing Joey King was in that. I'm like, why?
She's been acting for like as long as she's been alive. It feels like.
Yeah, it feels like.
I know she at least was like a 10-year-old actor. And then, so I think people really took an issue with her. She's not my favorite actress by any stretch of the means. I also she just has a very specific and recognizable face.
And that might be really.
Which, that's a good point. Like, she does have very unique features. She doesn't look like everybody else.
It was funny because when I first heard that she was in it, I'm like, what are they talking about? I'm like, she's not ugly. And then I looked at her and I went, no, she's very different in the face.
But I also, ugly as a term is, meant to be, anyone who hasn't undergone surgery. And so at one point in the books, Tally sees a fashion magazine that they had, they're preserving in a library at the Smoke.
Okay.
And it's, probably fucking Cameron Diaz. And she's like, who is this ugly and why is she on a magazine? And so it's and the people, the kind of the keeper of the secrets in the same way where in Rusty's standards, this woman was considered beautiful. And then they do go did she have the disease? Which is anorexia or bulimia. So they learn that one of the things that they learn in school is that the Rusties used to starve themselves to be beautiful. So they were see, beauty destroys you, it kills you. So they very much
interesting
mold them into this thing. Yes.
Just to throw in really quickly, did you know that? Of course you did. Joey King is in a Taylor Swift music video?
Yes, she's very cute in it.
I wanted to look to see. She has done a lot of stuff.
She has.
I was counting since The Act, which is when she's in a Sabrina Carpenter music video before The Act. So in 2018. But she 2019 did 3 things, 2020 did 5 things, 2022 2, so she's been doing 3 to 5 things every year. So maybe that's why it seems like she's also Netflix loves her.
Netflix loves her.
They really,
she was in The Kissing Booth, The Family Affair, and now Uglies. So, tons of Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
I'm fine with her.
Oh, she's fine.
Honestly, she's fine. She did a fine job. There's only one casting choice I didn't really like, and it's Paris. I didn't love Chase Stokes.
I adored Paris.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I really liked Paris. I thought he was precious.
Well, so we'll get into it. We're going to start. So we'll talk about characters.
Okay.
And one of the things I want to say before we go into this is the book actually doesn't really give in-depth descriptions of what people look like. We do get their nicknames from when they're uglies. So Tally is Squint, Paris is Nose, Shay is Skinny. And it's supposed to just be whatever is your most defining ugly feature.
Got it.
And so that's the only thing we really know. I don't think Joey King has squinty eyes. She is very much a big, doe-eyed. If anything, her nose is her biggest physical trait. Yeah, so it was weird having her call someone else Nose.
When she was he's hey, Squint. I'm like, what do you mean?
What?
What are you saying about?
When she was Gypsy Rose, she was squinty.
Oh.
But
that was so hard to watch.
Oh, it's terrible.
And it was funny because she's hey, Nose. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he had to turn his face so I could understand what was going on.
And his nose definitely looked like it had been broken at some point in his life. And the one thing I'll say about that is I do like that they didn't go strawberry blonde hair, squinty eyes, perfect nose, but lips too, because if it's just one thing, maybe a person reading with a big nose relates heavily to Paris. You're able to kind of see yourself more.
Yeah.
If there's less
detail.
I
agree. And it helps him avoid having to define what ugly is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it also, I think, for the purpose of this movie, gave us a really diverse cast.
Yeah, agreed.
Which I appreciated. I think had this been made 15 years ago, they would have all been white.
Well, yeah.
But I'm just saying, I liked that we were able to like really go out there with everybody.
Actually, if it had been done in the 90s, it would have had a diverse cast. The 90s actually did a lot of diversity. I've been noticing that as I watch older films. I've been like, wow, they do a lot more. You know, I'm not saying like there's not stereotypes, but you brought up the topic, and so I started thinking about it. But anyway,
no, that's a good point.
Keep going.
So she's supposed to have squinty eyes is her most noticeable trait. Mm-hmm. She is fiercely loyal. She's up for an adventure, and she's extremely resourceful. That's like her in the book. I think they did a pretty good job. Yeah. The one thing is some of her areas where she was more sneaky and schemy kind of felt like they happened to her in the movie. Like when she like gets to the smoke by herself, like some of that feels like she just like tumbled through. Whereas like a lot of it was her figuring stuff out along the way and like keeping herself alive and not like, oh, I'm somehow still alive. Like she actually was pretty good at like self-preservation in a way that like doesn't feel, it kind of made her feel clumsy in a way that she didn't come across to me, but whatever. It didn't do anything crazy.
I don't think, when they were like, man, she got here on her own, I'm like, well, she fell her way here. I'm like, she didn't really do anything crazy.
Right.
And I was like, she didn't even have help from the bad guys.
I know. Special circumstances could have just dropped her somewhere.
Yeah. And I was like, she just sort of followed this very vague poem or riddle and then fell again and then fell again. And I was like, oh, Ben, you're here.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about that. I have an issue with the poem.
Okay.
They changed it. Not a lot, but enough.
All right.
So Paris, in the book, his feature is his distinctive nose. We don't meet Paris until he's vapid and pretty.
Really?
When she the book opens with her deciding to like go visit him in New Pretty Town. Oh. Where she like grabs the bungee jacket. She gets herself out of there, and it's not like again. It's like, oh shit, I gotta go.
It wasn't. She just like, almost gets caught.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she does almost get caught, but like way more.
Yeah.
You can see like the mechanisms turning in her head, not like, oh, gonna do this now and then I'm gonna do that. Yeah. And so like, again, a part where I'm annoyed by that change.
I don't have to bring up this comment yet. Are we gonna talk about New Pretty Town again?
We are.
Okay, good. When she goes there the first time?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I have a whole thing. So we do know Tally had feelings beyond friendship that were likely reciprocated.
Oh, they were into each other.
Yes.
Good. Cute.
The movie is Chase Stokes. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. His nose is fine. It wasn't like a crazy nose. I actually did like the exposition with him at the beginning. I really loved the opening scene. The one thing is, pretty much after Tally goes to the smoke, Paris doesn't exist.
Oh, so he doesn't come back and do any big fighting
I
and
think
fall
he
off
does
the edge
in
of the
specials, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think they end up genetically modifying him like they did, but like, I don't even know if Homeboy's dead, and he wasn't even supposed to be in most of this book. So I'm not sure that's why I'm also like nervous that they're not going to make the rest of them, and we're just going to have to hope that like, she said it.
She put it best, really.
She really did.
That's the frustration of not knowing what's going to happen.
So they amplified him in a way that I do think served the film. Like I said, like I think, was it necessary? No. Does it up the stakes?
Yes.
Yes.
And I had no idea. I really liked him, and I really liked him coming through, and then all
the stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God! At the end, when she's like, "Come on, you're still in there," and he like puts his hand near her neck, and I didn't realize. And then he's like, "Oh my God, he's gonna snap her neck," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think that."
I don't think he was.
I don't think he was either.
So I think David jumping the gun there.
Yeah. Is
what led to him ultimately.
Yeah. But I really was like, I like them being together.
I know. Especially as Uglies. Like, I feel like, you know, like, being pretty just stamps so much out of you.
When you see him pretty for the first time.
Oh, it was blonde hair?
Okay, every single pretty I was like, you all scare the life out of me. Not a single pretty makes me comfortable.
And I think
that's on purpose.
It's for sure on purpose, but I'm glad that they went so far with it, because I remember, you know, as a weird kid reading this book and thinking like, oh, that would make my life so much easier. Like if I was just pretty.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's really relatable.
It is, but it's also that if that's what pretty is, nope, keep it.
And what I think you make a good point that if they had made them in any way, if they hadn't made them feel scary, you might have wanted it, you know?
There are some of Joey King's face morphs in there where I was like,
oh, yeah.
You look really good. You kind of look like your sister.
Well, it was funny because the last one where, like, she walks in and I was like, they're going to show her face and she's going to look so pretty. And she did. She looked really pretty. And I was like, ouch, I feel bad. I feel bad that I'm like, yeah, that's pretty nice.
Especially, like, all the jewelry. And it's also, like, the jewelry that she had, her long hair. I was like.
And they really did a good job of Instagramming it. Everything felt like Instagram. Everyone's hair, everyone's scenery. Like when she was in her apartment, it had like little plume, like things coming out of vases. I was like, that's an Instagram house.
Yes.
And I feel like they really did a good job, you know, not knowing me just coming from watching the movie. I thought they did a really good job of encapsulating how it feels to, if you were really going to live fully in the Instagram of, you know,
and now
in the trends. And
now thinking like if this had been done 15 years ago, we would not have had the insane amount of filters that we have now that really have given us some intense dysmorphia.
Well, I mean, think about when you use a filter on Snapchat and then you turn the regular camera on and the filter's off. I've never hated my face more. And people are like, no, you're beautiful. I'm like, but you have to understand. I just saw myself looking like dopamine beautiful.
Clear skin, big eyes, glittery freckles. I'm like, why don't I look like that?
And then you turn it off and it's like you just walked out of a grave.
You're actually dead.
Exactly. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But
I think in this era, making them go that extreme is like having the tools to do that. It enhance that vibe.
I agree. It really helps that they could go that far and let it be semi-believable.
Yes.
Where the technology was like, I could see how this works. But it was funny because when Paris is pretty, I went, he's kind of fine. I mean, I thought he was kind of fine anyway, but I was like, oh.
I actually, if they kept his dark hair, I probably would have been like, the blonde
is
tips.
Weird.
I was like, what, boy band? What are we doing?
That helped turn it off.
But I think that also is like, see, this is an illusion of pretty.
Yeah. Well, like turning her hair blonde and.
So that doesn't happen
in
or at least when she's in the pig mask. It doesn't transform her. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, the pig mask doesn't do it.
Right, you're right. You're talking about the end. But the pig mask puts like a new outfit on her, remember, and like did her hair down. Does not happen.
Really? No. Actually, I thought the pig mask didn't go far enough.
Well, just get ready.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the pig mask. So then we'll talk about Shay.
All right.
In her character name in the book is Skinny, and she's supposed to be like rail thin, but not eating disorder thin, just genetically thin.
Okay.
And don't worry, the surgery will fix that. But she doesn't want to be pretty. She doesn't have like the face morph account. She doesn't look at it. There's, I think they do it when they're talking, but there is a scene where Tally's like going through all of hers, and she's like, I think I'm gonna go with my left side symmetrical because my right side is terrible. Yeah. And then of course in the poem it's like take the side you despise, which I think they cut out, which is how Tally knows to go to the right at one point.
Interesting.
Shay left her a very actually pretty helpful clue, and she uses them. She gets them the entire time.
Okay.
Mountain climbing is so infuriating to me.
Oh my God.
It doesn't happen. But so she was supposed to leave with her friends and go to the smoke and like...
Shay?
And doesn't and chickens out. And then finally when she meets Tally, she's like, oh, this girl, they refer to uglies who are like very schemy and stuff as tricky. Oh. And she's like, she's as tricky as me.
Yes.
And then I wish they kind of kept... They did keep tricks in there, but one of the pretties language is things are bubbly. And they didn't
keep that.
They didn't keep that.
When I was on the Wikipedia page, they were like, in Uglies, they say bubbly. In one of the other ones, they say this, and I went, bubbly? What are they talking about?
And like they could have been as simple as Paris going, "You'll love it here. It's so bubbly." Like that's
a
it,
good point.
right? Like there's so many ways you could just work in the easy thing.
There are moments like that in adaptations where I go, there is no reason you could not work this in. You just didn't. And I'm not like to be like, you just didn't, but also like little things.
Because you're supposed to realize that something's not quite right
In his brains?
in the brains of the pretty people, because they're just like, we don't care. When she's like, you said you were going to meet me. Oh, so what was supposed to happen was he's supposed to meet her a month out in the movie. I don't think that's in the book.
Yeah. Oh, it's not in the book.
I don't think it's in the book.
Yeah, you're really mouthy tonight, girl.
You are really mouthy, young lady.
We know your time is valuable. Thank you for holding. Someone will be with you as soon as possible.
Can I just get through my podcast? I'm begging you. But yeah, so especially because that's like a shared language. Like tricky is shared amongst the uglies, bubbly is shared. You can kind of see
got it.
that age progression.
Yeah.
And so they move to ugly school when they're 12. And before they're
12
they're
is a big deal.
littlies living with their parents in Crumblyville or Crumbly
I
Town.
will say some of the words in this are really funny.
They are. But so she, her parents had already undergone the surgery her, entire childhood.
Yeah.
And so she only knows them as these, vapid weirdos.
I was thinking about
Yeah.
that. But they don't live. How do they not live with the pretties if they're pretties?
New Pretty Town is where you first go.
Oh.
And then once you, mature enough, you go to Crumblyville, Crumblyland, Crumble Cookies.
I'm gonna Google it.
I know it's Crumbly for sure.
Why did
Probably Crumble Cookies.
the algorithm was ugly crumble cookies? Well, that's actually just a cookie that looking ugly. I'll keep looking and you tell me.
No worries. And so I would say nothing major changes with Shay from the book to the movie.
Okay.
Except Shay is in love with David.
Yes, in the movie.
In the book.
Oh.
Love.
They did give a little bit.
Oh.
Oh, it's a lot.
When David gives Tally the gloves.
Oh, it's big.
Shay loses it. And not because she's gifts are important.
Okay.
Because at that point, Tally knows that gifts are important. Tally, when she's given the gloves in the book, she's like, oh, this means something. People don't just give you things in the smoke. And Shay's says something like, stealing my boyfriend wasn't enough. You had to and so loves him.
Okay.
Not just idolizes him and maybe has doe eyes, puppy dog, but really thought they were going to be something.
I mean, I thought it was kind of funny that out of nowhere, he's like, I love, what's her name?
Tally.
He's like, I'm into you, and I'm willing to look past everything, except not really, but,
hey.
I did have one little issue there. But it was funny because I didn't get that she was in love with him, but until the bonfire scene where she sits down and kind of hits him when she sits down. She nudges him with her shoulder. I'm like, oh, she's a crush on him.
She
okay,
does.
But that was it. So
it's
way more vivid,
more pronounced.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're gonna go to David. I don't think I'll talk about anybody else.
Okay.
So he's the leader of the smoke at 18 years old.
Look at him.
And he's actually more like the face of the rebellion.
Yeah.
His parents lead, but since he's still young enough to get 16-year-old uglies to come with, he's a safer person than having
parent.
some random adult who's aged
Yep.
and has wrinkles, because Tally's horrified. The way she describes people over 40 is nuts. And I forgot, you showed the cover of your book. I was going to show the cover of mine. Unfortunately, on the Kindle, it's the
her.
movie cover,
It's
you were
her.
describing. How I really like the original cover is just half a girl's face with red hair and freckles and green eyes, and it just says Uglies. Yeah, the covers are all cool. They're all half of faces, and they get progressively
They are
more
cool.
edited. But so we don't get a lot of physical description about him. We just know that he was born outside of the town and he's only known the smoke and he's never known being ugly or the surgery or any of that. We meet him when she arrives at the smoke. Like we hear about him once before. So like the whispers of him in like the school graduation ceremony, not accurate, but I think again, it's building suspense.
I'm glad we had it.
Yeah, it's probably helpful.
I thought it was funny because I was like, this is clunky. Like when they're like what about David? I'm like, what? That's a little clunky.
Who's David?
But when he showed up, I was like, oh, that's David.
Yes.
That's why they did that.
Yep. And so I also, this movie is relatively short.
Really?
It's an hour and 40 minutes. That's
it is.
0 minutes in movie time nowadays. That's half the amount of most movies.
That's funny.
So I think, you have to give enough and you have to make the stakes really high if your movie's going to be this short and maybe not have sequels.
Yeah.
Netflix, I don't care if it doesn't make money, make it.
Let's take that seriously for a moment, Netflix. She wants you to make an adaptation.
I know.
Do you know how many times I've wished all your adaptations didn't exist? She wants this. Just do it. Stop doing things people aren't asking for and start doing the things they want. I'm good.
So this movie did the same thing that The Giver does, where they made Dr. Cable a more overarching character in society than she actually is.
I pieced that together during something you said earlier. I went, oh, is she implying that Dr. Cable wasn't this huge character that goes through the whole thing? She does exist.
She does exist.
Yep.
She is the lead doctor of like the surgeries, and she's the one that lords Tally's surgery over her, but that's like it. And she's in charge of special circumstances. There's no graduation ceremony like they showed. She doesn't like, hello students.
No
and like,
hologram.
I think they called her like the governor. She's not, she's just Dr. Cable, but like she's famous.
Yeah.
But Laverne Cox is exceptional casting in my opinion. No notes. I also, one thing I'm going to add on, I'd love a toothbrush pill.
Oh, me too.
I'm just dropping that in there.
That's funny. I watched her take the toothbrush pill and I went, I don't know how any of that works.
I was like, I don't think that does anything.
I was like, if she took it and chew it, I would get it. But like, she just swallowed that. That's not going to remove plaque.
Maybe it like, it releases something that comes and like eats the plaque off your
bacteria
teeth.
eats the plaque off your teeth.
Dentists, I'm begging. So I want to talk about Uglyville and New Pretty Town and all of that. I think Uglyville, they nailed it. It's just like a dorm and a school, and like they have all these windows, whatever. They just have to stare out at New Pretty Town all day.
Oh my God.
New Pretty Town is supposed to like be kind of hovered.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be kind of almost precarious.
Okay.
Like you realize that if something happened with the magnets, the entire thing would collapse.
Oh, wow.
Which is supposed to be like a metaphor for
the whole thing would collapse if something goes wrong.
And they don't ever talk about that.
Yeah, no.
When she sneaks into New Pretty Town in the book, it's urgent. It's actually kind of scary.
Really?
Like she's like not, she doesn't have time to like take in anything. She needs to not be exposed.
I hated that. I love that song so much, and it does make me always want to cry, but it killed the moment that there was lyrics. I was like, just put instrumentals for this moment.
Yeah.
That's a me problem. Keep going.
She ends up getting the pig mask by happenstance, like she does here. Like there's just a parade going by, and she's like, I need to hide my ugly little face behind a pig mask, which is funny.
Yeah, that's an
it's
I thought it was an
interesting
ugly metaphor.
And it's only supposed to be the mask. Like I had pictured a full face of a pig, like not a half little mask, and that's it. She's still in her school uniform.
Her little skimpy school uniform?
I put, why is she always in a skirt? Pants.
And you see her at one point when she's with Laverne Cox, she goes to sit down and you can like see her like pull the skirt down. Cause I'm like, yeah, cause your little booty's gonna be out.
Yeah. Yes. That skirt was too short. Oh. But yeah, so she's in that outfit.
Yeah.
Exactly that outfit. And actually while she's in the pig mask wandering around, people are making fun of her because she's at the wrong party. So like she sneaks into his mansion and they're like, here, piggy, piggy. And they're like chasing her. And they're like, when Paris is like the safari party's down the street, that's like the closest we get. Oh. But people are, and it's like, oh, even when you're pretty, if you do the wrong thing, you're still going to get made fun of.
Wow, interesting.
So I'm sure, like, if she had taken the mask off and been like, I'm pretty, and they would have been, and was pretty, it would all
been fine.
But because she, like, deviates from the norm and they've got dumb little brains.
Interesting.
She's, like, made fun of the whole time. And it's, like, scary. And then she gets to Paris and he's like, I'll see you in a month.
Yeah.
Squint. What are you doing here?
Oh, so he acts like nothing's...
Well, he's just like, you need to get out of here. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, so it's not like...
And then he does get rid of his scar. And he's like, well, yeah, they scrub everything.
It was so funny. She's like, just make sure they don't get rid of your scar. And I out loud, I'm like, well, that's the first thing to go. Like,
how do you have a say over that?
I'm like, there's no way they're gonna let him keep it. But then, so was it? Because I felt like when I was watching it, it was like he was a little more like, oh, why are you here?
Yes, I think he was like that too. But he was very much in the book. They're like hiding in an elevator,
so
that
he
it's
definitely
closed.
is more conscious.
He seems a little more conscious, but it's more just like, you need to get out of here and like not cause any trouble, and so that I can see you in a month when it's your birthday.
Okay, so he does lie to her about. Well, maybe he thinks he's going to do it.
Do what?
See her.
Oh yeah, no, he for sure
thinks. Oh no, I got confused. Never mind. He knows she's coming to visit him in a month. There. Yeah. Sorry, I got.
Yeah. He knows her
with the
birthday's in
timeline.
September 9th to be exact.
Wow, I love that you know that. That's one of those freaky details that you remember.
I just watched the movie yesterday, and her and Shay have the same birthday, and
you know how it is.
You know how it is. And honestly, for the movie, I can forgive this change for the sake of world building and wonder. Like, that's the only glimpse of Pretty Town we get.
I loved it
because we move fully on. And like the fireworks were like you take a picture and then it's in the fireworks with your friends. Very Instagram.
Yes, very Instagram.
Like very beautiful. The music was all like, and it just like, it's a place you want to be. Like I was like, I'd love to be there.
I was like, that looks fun, except for one thing that I thought was an odd extra.
Mm-hmm.
There's an extra in the background who's wearing like this like leather piece thing that has very BDSM overtones. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what
I thought you were going to do?
Oh, no. I was wondering if that was a canonical change or not.
Oh, they don't describe people like that at all.
Oh, so they don't say if Jake from State Farm is
in Pretty Town. Well, I thought he was wearing a white tux.
No, Jake from State Farm's not wearing a BDSM outfit.
Okay.
No,
right. No,
okay.
So
combining two extras.
We are combining two extras. So that's what I thought you were about to do.
No, that would have been funny.
It was so funny. I was like, no, but yeah. So in the background, very, very background, you see a very handsome man in a white suit, kind of eyeing Joey King from behind, giving her a little once over while she's
real
pig
quick.
Pretty.
That's wild.
I just came up with that right now. And that happens to be Jake from State Farm, who we went to high school with.
Yeah, I got good eyes, man.
Yeah, Ariel sent me a Snapchat, and I was like, I've watched this movie twice. How have I not seen him?
It's a breath. And
it's so quick.
I don't even know if they prettied his face. Like...
I didn't seem like it. He looked just like himself.
He looked just like
So, I guess not everybody needs surgery. Yeah. Huh.
Jake from State Farm doesn't need it.
So that's pretty much all I have on New Pretty Town and that.
Yeah, I thought New Pretty Town looked dope. I know. I was like, I'm in.
Oh, but again, that's another area where she seemed a little less self-sufficient. Like
it wasn't.
She grabs the bungee jacket. She hesitates, but she knows exactly what she needs to do to get out of there.
Okay.
She doesn't like. It's not like Paris is like take it and go. Like he doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Like she does way more of the thinking than any of them, which again they can't.
Oh yeah, good point.
Their brains aren't good.
Lobotomies.
So another thing that is a pretty big change that I didn't think made sense or was needed was the information on the orchids.
Oh, what do you mean it's a change?
Well, so in the book, they're just an invasive species that's destroying the earth.
Oh.
That's it.
It wasn't planted to...
No, so the bulbs used to be worth a lot of money, like enough to buy a house.
Okay.
And so the Rusties started growing them in mass because they were worth money, which of course then made them worth nothing. I don't know how you guys know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Exclusivity drives demand, as I always said.
Season after season.
But because it's such an invasive species, their greed led to just overtaking the planet. So it's just destroying everything around it. Like, it's not...
Okay.
But so in this, they made it a power source, and they never explain how.
Yeah.
We just know that the white orchid is the power source that runs the town instead of fossil fuels. What?
Okay, cool.
What?
I just accepted it
Yeah,
and moved along.
that's fair.
But so when they burn all the orchids, that happen?
So the Smokies don't do that. We'll get into it. In the poem that Shay leaves for her, she leaves a clue that's like, go by the flowers and wait for the bug eyes or something. And like, makes no sense, right? We have no idea what she's talking about. She ends up in a field of orchids. She's like, oh, this is beautiful. She wakes up in flames.
Okay, so that happens.
So that is accurate. But it is a group of pretties called rangers. And their job is with the city destroying these flowers.
Oh.
So they're like, that's like their city job. But what they do is because they haven't had the surgery, or like if you get a job that requires you to have any sort of critical thinking, they remove the lesions and let you have a brain.
Oh, okay. So you're still pretty, but you can think.
Yep. And so so what they do is they're always the ones that find people trying to escape, and they're like, yeah, we'll take you to the meeting point. So they take her, and then the smoke is doing its own thing entirely.
Okay, because it made absolutely no sense to me that she was told to fall asleep, or at least stay until dark in the flowers, because they were like something about at night, and then she wakes up and they're on fire. And I'm like, so who set the fire? Why did you tell her to go in the flowers if you were going to set it on fire?
It wasn't supposed to normally they see people first. Like, she was just very well hidden.
Yeah,
was
okay.
how it was in the book and the movie. But like wrong, just like the wrong thing entirely. And like, I mean, what they do is they eliminated those special like rangers, and they just made the Smokies the rangers. And so they're trying to rebuild the planet by destroying this invasive species.
Yes, they combined them.
But so what it did was it made Tally go, you are destroying our power source.
Yes.
You do have something out against us. And they're like, that's not power, babe. Like, it's just greed.
Interesting.
It's just a graveyard of greed.
It's weird.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's weird.
Not necessary, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
But whatever. We needed the fire scenes.
Yeah.
We like don't see any specials really in the first book.
Oh,
and
so
we
they
see
threw
them
a lot.
butt ton here. Because like
Yeah.
we see the specials the first time we're in and they're like running through the fire.
Yes, and that's where I was like, oh, okay, it was them.
So specials are pretties that have been enhanced, which happens to Paris. We see it. We see him go in, they like make his muscles, they give him like they're like muscle, top capacity, something. Like he gets all red across the board. And so what they do is they just make them basically fighting machines.
Yeah.
They're superhuman, but they're pretty.
They're even
also
superhuman.
There's something that's supposed to happen to them that makes them like a kind of a scary pretty.
Okay.
Like when Tally is first taken to special circumstances, she is very scared of the people there because they have very sharp features and but they've gotten surgery to make themselves look that way.
Interesting.
And it's supposed to be like a scary pretty. So
interesting.
I didn't like that we kind of cut that
The
jump scare out of it
Yeah.
because like Paris also didn't look any different in the face, just...
No, I think emotionally I felt different about him, but...
Because, every dystopian novel and movie, minus The Giver, needs a very special girl with a braid to save the day. And this very special girl with a braid has the ability to make other people think differently. So Paris, his lesion surgery doesn't fully work because of how much he loves Tally.
Yeah. Well, we love a Mary Sue.
Yeah. The timeline's also a little inaccurate, not in a way that totally matters, but Shay ends up leaving I think 10 days before their birthday, not the night before.
Oh, okay.
And the journey's supposed to take 2 weeks, not 4 days.
Oh, you're not supposed to just fall your way through one day at a time and then you're done?
And so Tally doesn't leave till 4 days after their birthday.
Oh.
So it's been a full, basically 2 weeks that Shay has been gone. And so she's supposed to make up 10 days of this journey in the time. So she zooms through it. She's reading the poem. She does at that point she knew the gap in the roller coaster. She figures out the worst mistake pretty quickly. There's no mountain climbing.
Is the worst mistake just falling through the thing? Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. There's no mountain climbing.
There's no mountain climbing.
She's
the mountain
not
with the face is...
Okay. The mountain climbing
I literally looked up the poem in my Kindle while I was watching, and I was like, what?
The mountain climbing, I went, why? And I was like, is this because y'all had her do like walk along the bridge thing underneath and now she's going to climb a mountain? And then she drops her bag, but then she has another bag. And I went, how many bags was she carrying? I cannot keep track of the bags.
I don't know. But so everyone is super suspicious because she was supposed to have left 4 days sooner than she did.
Oh, got it.
And they're like, why did it take you so long?
Interesting.
Like that's supposed to be like a red flag. Though her doing it alone is still a red flag too.
Yeah.
Sidebar, Croy, hot. Oh my God, that guy is good looking. He's the one who's most suspicious the whole time, and they did a pretty good job of keeping him.
It was so funny at the end. He's like, I'm sorry, I was suspicious or
and
something.
She was like, you were right about me.
He was like, I was wrong or something, and I was just like, no, you were right. You were correct. You should have been suspicious. Don't apologize just because she's Mary Sue. I'm like, you were correct and all. Actually, you got the whole thing right, so enjoy that.
Well, I mean, she did change her mind.
But in the beginning,
the suspicion is warranted.
He was on point.
Yes, he was like, what are you doing here? How'd you get here without help? Which she does. Well, yeah, whatever. But so, also, when she first meets Shay and Shay gives her the Henry David Thoreau book to read.
Walden.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's not a thing.
Oh, she doesn't get Walden?
She doesn't get a book.
Oh.
We don't see the books till we get to the smoke.
Okay.
But because there are no books in that society.
Does she get Walden when she's there?
I don't think so.
Because that was so Netflix of them. They did that in After, which I have not watched, but I watched enough like reviews of it. They're like, hey, you read books? Do you like Wuthering Heights? Oh and it's like, when they were like, they gave him, she's like, here it is. And I'm like, Walden? That's the book these kids are losing their mind over? I'm like, not saying it's a bad book, but they did that in Christmas Movie with the lying and
Love Hard?
Love Hard.
Yeah.
He's like, Walden's my favorite book.
Yeah. Yep,
like, Netflix, why do you have such a crush on that book? Not that it's bad, but why?
Maybe it's supposed to be like one of those books that like is supposed to alter how you think about the world.
I mean, yes, it's a very intellectual discussion of living in the forest. I've never read it, but I've heard enough intellectuals talk about it. It's very potent for them. When I read it, it will be potent for me, and I will take back all of this.
We don't actually stand by anything we say.
I'm
we
sorry,
will change
Ethel.
our minds.
Ethel's mad, and I'm sorry, Ethel.
Ethel, girl.
Ethel's in the comments like, it is a potent read.
It is very of the times. Okay, so we're kind of rounding on home for me. I had to have more notes that I took, but Croy is hot is right there in the middle. So another change is Dr. Cable saying that the smoke has a weapon. I looked up the word weapon in my Kindle. I was like, I'm fairly certain that's just a device to make Tally more scared and believe her.
So why does she just goes because they won't make her pretty till Shay comes back?
Right.
Not because of the weapon.
She only goes because she wants her surgery. That's it.
So
that is Tally's only motivator, which is...
I would have liked that.
It's like, damn, girl, really? Like, all this just to...
It's her whole life, man.
It's her whole life.
And
They're
I think
brainwashed.
It makes so much... I was watching this thing on Snapchat, you know. I don't really watch the Snapchat videos, but sometimes they have like this hooked on the look thing that they do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like people get like plastic surgery or things like that, and I fall into that trash sometimes. But there is this one woman who like, she just keeps getting surgeries because she keeps going further into what the trends are.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't regret any of it. And it's like, yeah, Tally got sucked into that. It hurts to not look as pretty as, you know.
Especially having to go back to the dorms, and everyone's like, why is this ugly back here?
That was nuts. I felt so bad for her.
And like what they did was, I think they only did it like for one day, right? In the movie. It was 4.
That's
before she like caved. But it's literally just the brainwashing, which I think is a scarier and more powerful tool than they're building a weapon to destroy the city.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
It had to make her... It was to make her, like, a more relatable main character.
Well, and again, to, like, up the stakes. Like, are they building a weapon?
I didn't believe it for 30 seconds. That was one thing is I was like, I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought, I'm like, what if the twist is that they are? And then it didn't happen. And I was like, you didn't need to include that, but I didn't even think that they wouldn't have.
Yeah. The other thing that I had a problem with, and this is both in the book and the movie, the pendant.
Yeah.
Tally, put it under your shirt.
Straight up.
Just put it under your shirt.
Straight up.
Why does it need to be out all the time?
Dude, it's always out.
Hide it. Hide it, girlfriend.
Oh my God. It was just so funny. It was like, oh, what's that necklace? I was like, tuck it away.
Yeah.
They won't know. Mm-hmm. But.
So in the book, like I said, she wakes up and the Rangers take her to the rendezvous point, and then she meets David and everybody else. Yeah. David scooping her up and like hero walking her out of the fire. Doesn't happen, but boy.
It was hot.
Am I into David?
You really into David?
I think that I loved that actor. I love his little freckles. Like, he's just so handsome, and he's handsome in like the perfect way of like not Jake from State Farm or like not a movie star handsome, but
Jake
like
from State Farm is relatably handsome.
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, he's
just also a pretty. So
he's always been relatably handsome.
That's his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
That's why he's maybe worth millions of dollars or maybe worth nothing.
We don't know.
We don't
Google
know.
Wouldn't give us an answer. Anyway, yes.
I do want to know if my old friends are millionaires.
That would be just a piece of knowledge I could use.
But yeah, doesn't hide the Netflix.
He won't hide
she
the Netflix.
won't hide the Netflix.
You want to play hide
They're
the
all
Netflix?
watching Bridgerton. They need to save the world. So the one thing about The Smoke is it is a fully independent society that has existed, and they are protecting books and magazines and literature of the rusty era. We never meet the boss, who's the librarian. We don't meet him at all. And she's like, he had to have been like 40. He was disgusting. And I was like, I would have really loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Alexander Skarsgård. Be like, I run books, I like manage the books, and her being like, ew, you're so ugly.
That's great.
But we find out from David's parents that they were doctors, they worked on the surgeries, they realized through their research and like the access they were given that these lesions would appear and they could be removed. Depending. And so they started to realize that that was what they were using to control people, that it actually wasn't that we all were uniformly the same. It's mind control. And so they're trying to develop a cure, but they can't without a test subject. They need whatever synthetic thing makes them pretty, which is just a test subject in this. In the movie, in the book, in the movie, they made it like a fully separate vial that she needed. Doesn't matter. Okay. I don't care about that. They put the two together. They still need the test subject. Sense. So it made them needing something from special.
Amped the stakes.
It amped the stakes.
Yep.
But let's see. In all caps, the specials are not a thing yet. I think one of the cruxes or cornerstones of the book as a whole, outside of like this uniformity and like obsession with our looks, is bad. It's a smokehouse. Like don't focus on it. At one point, David says all social change is seen as radical at first.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy, did I love that line. Yeah. I was like, hell yeah. And so the weapon had me really annoyed because she was like, well, they said you're building a weapon. And he was like, all right, come with me. And so our final and biggest deviation is how everything plays out when Dr. Cable and the big bad arrive.
Oh, yeah, because
her throwing the necklace in the fire because she has feelings for David and they're going to become a thing. Real. And so she throws the necklace. We see it flash blue.
Yeah, I
and
saw
so
that.
We
I
know
glimpse
that
of purple
we're like, uh-oh. And so then they wake up and they're, mass chaos. Tally's not with David at that point. They're fully separated. She runs to the library to try to save books.
Oh, wow. She really likes it now.
Yeah, Tally likes being smart. She's not just a girl with a braid. She's got a brain too. So she's supposed to like help with the books. She's barefoot because she was like asleep when all this happened. And so she ends up like having to try to help the boss get away with his books and whatnot. And she distracts people and then she gets rounded up and like forced into the pen. And Shay's like, you did this. Shay like knows. Shay's like, I don't know how, but she's like, this is only because of you. They never would have found us. What did you do? And Croy's like, she's tied up in here with the rest of us. Like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, ouch.
Mm-hmm. And so she ends up being brought into Dr. Cable, and Dr. Cable's like, where's the pendant? Like, you triggered it, right? And she's like, yep. And Tally lies and is like, yep, I called you. Things are crazy. Can you even believe it? Thanks for coming. And she's like, why did you wait so long? And she's like, there was never a right moment. She's like, well, I'd like the pendant back. I want to tie up loose ends. That's just destroyed.
Yeah, it's gone.
So Tally ends up like telling a lie that it's like she hid it on top of a roof where all the hoverboards are. And she ends up tricking a special and like knocking him off the roof and getting on a hoverboard and like taking off to try to like save whatever she can. And that's where she finds David hiding in the caves where they like can't see the heat sensors. He thinks she like brought people, and he realizes like, nope, just her. He has no idea that she's the traitor, the way that it's just like, kill his dad. Tally did this.
God.
Like,
that was hard.
Hard. The dad's taken alive.
Really?
Everybody is kidnapped.
It's not just
except
like
David and Tally. They're brought to special circumstances. David has no idea the entire journey that they make to the city that Tally is the reason this happened. He has no idea. Ooh. So they're in love.
Oh, God. That would have hurt to watch.
And there's another really cute part that I feel like could have stayed in if they had kept this part, which is also very full of action. We didn't need different action. Like, we're replacing action with action in my mind. So I'm like, what are we doing? When they get back to the smoke, they see that like the pen where they had rounded up everybody is full of shoes. And it's because Croy remembered she was barefoot and told everyone to take their shoes off so she'd have a pair of shoes to come get them.
Shut up.
I shit you not. I love so this society. Cute. Anyway, so having Paris murder David's dad does not happen. Also, David and Tally should have still stayed hidden when that happened. I get it. It was painful, but like, stay hidden.
Yeah.
Dorks. But then basically everything that happens from there is pretty accurate.
Okay.
Although when they get into special circumstances, they actually knock out Dr. Cable. They never end up getting into like the surgery.
Oh, they don't.
But you know, all of that is
we had to have someone
enough,
come with a helicopter and a flamethrower.
Very cool, right?
Yeah, we had to do it.
The dad does get killed at special circumstances, though.
So he was going to die.
He was going to die. They just upped
the
stakes.
Yeah, okay.
If you will. But I think, and then Pretty Shay is like my favorite Shay. It's like the way you like Paris. I like Shay being like, this is so bubbly. And they like take her and they're like, why doesn't she want to leave? And they're like, because she's like,
she's a zombie.
Well, they actually, in this book.
Yeah.
The amount of times they say brain damage is crazy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She's like, this isn't Shay. She has brain damage. And I'm like, I don't think we say that in 2024, 2025. I don't think we use that term anymore unless it's a TBI. So, yeah, that's how they refer to the lesions. They like, we don't know if it's cancer or brain damage. And it's like, well, it's probably, it's a lobotomy, essentially. Yeah. But like, a lobotomy with a sensor instead of a pick. Sorry, I know.
No, it's okay.
But but they're like, Shay, like, why aren't you leaving? And she's like, well, I'm bringing Tally with me. Like, she won't leave till she brings Tally. But so, but like, if Tally never, but so they want to like, they are going to operate on Shay, and Shay's like, I don't want to. And again, we've got our moral doctor going, I'm not gonna do this. Like, I'm not gonna operate on an unwilling test subject, which is why Tally. But at that point, David knows, and David has fully ghosted her. Oh. He like takes off into the woods. She doesn't see him.
He's feeling betrayed.
And she ends up going back to the city and, you know, exposes herself and is like, I'm Tally Youngblood, make me pretty. That's how the book ends. So we don't even like know, like we just know that she's like, make me pretty. Pretties could have started with her like still ugly on a table being screamed. Like, you know, like we had no idea what was going to happen to her next because she's willingly turning herself in after
what happens?
Being a crazy person. Oh, they make her pretty, and then she's a test subject.
But does she, like, know that she's...
I can't fully remember. I think the way that they did the ending, so the ending having her be pretty and turn, and, like, we see the scar on her hand. So, like, she kept it, and she was like, there'll be a sign, and you'll know it's me. I think that's pretty accurate.
When Paris got the glass in his hand.
I know.
I felt so many things. I was like, he's still in there.
Yes.
And I know it wasn't on purpose, but I was like, he's there.
I have a feeling if they do this, they will bring him back.
Yeah, I think they will. I don't think he died. You don't know someone's dead in movies until you watch them die, unfortunately.
But I think, like, in terms of, I know I'm supposed to hate it, and I haven't even looked up why people hate it. Yeah. Because I don't know, but like I thought the second time around, especially after rereading it, I went, okay, actually, you know, like
things
this,
are not totally
this is
correct.
weird. Like, I don't know why we did X, Y, and Z, but also I still really liked it at the end of the day. Like, some people were like, the CGI sucked. And I was like, the CGI was fine.
I did not mind okay, one thing I minded about the CGI. Let me just make this little note for myself.
Yeah.
The amount of times I had to watch that chick skateboard. She just hoverboarded so much, and there was so much falling, and then going in the sky, and going down, and up, and down, and I went, we could have cut some of this. I didn't need to watch so much.
That is a lot in the book, but we don't really need it in the movie.
Yeah.
I
just didn't need that much hoverboarding.
Yeah. Okay. So I went to a Reddit.
Yeah. What you got?
Let's look at criticisms,
Reddit knows.
and then we're only about an hour in, so we'll be done soon. So it says cities and nature. In the movies, cities are portrayed as trying to destroy nature, but in the book, it's the opposite. The cities go out of their way to preserve nature. They take it upon themselves to burn the invasive flowers that are taking over the world, showing that environmental preservation is a priority. That is interesting.
Okay.
Because it's going to come back to The Giver a little bit, where like they're doing the wrong thing for the right reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to make them dumb just because
they want to control them.
They want to control them. They also want to stop destroying the Earth's natural resources. They want the planet to come back.
Yeah.
And they want people to stop.
They want to protect them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the end war by making everyone the same.
Yes.
And it's like it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they said the portrayal of the smoke was off. It's a much bigger and more violent organization. I don't remember it being very violent, but whatever. But they were definitely, I will agree with this, that they were more low key about surviving and staying off the grid than like being rebels.
Okay.
And like it's the same thing with the Uglies actually. When they're like, you want to do a cool trick and like help us, the Uglies like were not ready to rebel. They all wanted the surgery. Like everybody wants to be pretty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Instead, they kind of made them kind of what they did with like Jonas and Asher and Fiona. Damn, this is the same story. It's kind of the same where they wouldn't be deviating as much as they are.
Yep. But they are. But that, I found the movie to be a fun ride.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yep.
I gave up that it had to be great. I was like, this doesn't have to be a great movie.
Right.
And I bet if I was like a young adult or a kid watching this, I would think it's so cool.
Yep.
I would be like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
Because it was bright and easy to understand what was going on. I only had one issue in what the characters did, and that was when she's like, David, I want to tell you what's going on. And he's like, no, I care about you for you. And then next day, how could you do this? And I'm like, she literally went to tell you. You were seconds away. You said you didn't care, AKA you weren't listening, sir.
Yeah.
And I got so annoyed.
And so that's the part that's annoying about why like them changing that ending
that
so
would
much.
have made more sense if it was.
Was like, what? Like,
yeah.
And then of course like his 180 still took time.
And if it had time in between it wouldn't have felt literally like a literal stand-up turnaround,
Yeah.
It would have been like, it would have given me time to forget that he was like, well, I'll accept you for whatever you are.
And especially like when she says, I think the mom's name is Maddie, when she says like, I'll know he's forgiven me like if you come back. Like when she goes to get surgery, she goes without knowing if David's ever going to forgive her. Oh. She leaves fully knowing he hates her guts.
Wow.
And she still does it.
That's her commitment, man.
And that's the thing is like, again, she's a very loyal, this character. And so like having them reveal her secret the way that they did, like kind of blew up her whole character development in a way. I mean, she still goes and does it. So it's fine. Like, she already believes it. She's in it. But it's just like the order of operations there seemed unnecessary to get to the same end. And the ending in the book, I think, makes me feel more.
Yeah, I think the ending in the movie wraps it up nicely in case they don't do a sequel.
I know.
It's like, well, at least we got an ending, kind of. You know, you don't know what's going to happen, so it's a cliffhanger, but
we know he's forgiven her, and they kiss.
And, you know, and there's, you know, Paris might have died,
but maybe not.
Maybe
and
not,
even if he died probably a good person. Yeah, that's a really good point. Ugh.
Wrapped it up a little bit.
I don't think they're going to give us a sequel, and that seems
wrong.
All right, well, I guess we're done.
I'm like,
I'm going to go to bed now. It's 1
Take
p.m.
for a nap.
Well, thank you for joining us on this journey. This is one of my favorite books. We're going to keep, we've discussed that we might stay on some of this dystopian thread that we've pulled.
Yeah.
We've got some really interesting thoughts about like Fahrenheit 451, Stepford Wives, probably Hunger Games, Divergent feels right.
Yeah, hold on, wait,
There's definitely a lot of opportunity here and a lot of, I think, deeper discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I think there is. I will probably deviate to a different.
Love it. Do whatever you want.
You know what? Because I'm looking at my list of options here. Like, what do I want to go with next? And I remember I was saying, I don't know if I was saying this to you or somebody else, but I was saying like, I want to do this show with the mentality of if this is my last episode, what's the
this was me yesterday.
What do I want to do? Good, it was you. Look at that.
We talk almost daily.
Almost daily. So if this is my last one, what's the one I would want to do? I have a few. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I have a few. And I think I got to do it. We're going to do for me, so the next episode in the release for us, I'm going to do Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, yep.
It's not dystopian, but it is a different world. It is like you take a world outside of the world we have now. I
had Hunger Games, so I might stick with that.
Do it. I'm going to stay in the children's literature section.
So am I.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm just like 5 years younger than you.
Okay, so here's something funny.
Yeah.
The Giver and Uglies, very same thematically. Howl's Moving Castle and Hunger Games, both H's.
Both
And
H's.
I love an alliteration. So
both lead characters that I'm pretty sure have a braid.
I know. I should do Divergent after. I'm going to do Divergent after.
That's cool.
And maybe I'll let you have Fahrenheit 451.
That's okay. I'm not upset if you
discuss.
don't let me have it. I'm thinking about doing Rebecca, so it'll be a complete 180.
I know. All right.
But it hit me. I added to my list of things to consider series of unfortunate events. But I'm not sure if I want to do this series or I want to go back to the first movie they made. Because they're very different. And I'm not going to compare them like I did Pride and Prejudice. It's more work that I want to do. So maybe I save it for when I've got an editor to do that editing for me.
That's a good point. I mean, full disclosure, I've read that book series a bunch. I was obsessed. I've seen the movie. I've seen the. So that would be one where it's just like we're kind of talking at each other about things we agree or disagree on, which could be still interesting.
Could be fun, yeah. I started last year. Yeah, it was last year. I read the entire series in 1 month. I just sat there and read the whole thing. And I was like, I haven't read this much of one thing other than like Dickens that I'm reading right now. But like, there's a certain point of series of unfortunate events where my brain just was like, people keep dying. They just keep dying. It never gets easier.
And those are also children's books.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
I took that
that's okay. No, I love it. We can talk about my Memento Mori tattoo. So with that, thank you for joining us. Howl's Moving Castle next, followed by Hunger Games. And keep Wait, hold on. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment, give us a share, subscribe, watch the next one. That'd be great. We really appreciate it if you're listening.
Yeah.
Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I think right now we're only on Apple and Spotify, so I guess
That's all right.
hopefully you only listen there.
Most people are only
Yeah.
on Apple and Spotify.
Good, thank goodness. Leave us a 5-star rating and review.
Yeah,
that would be
you.
helpful.
Love it.
And we appreciate you. And I'm Chelsea.
I'm Ariel.
Keep reading.
Keep watching. I like that.
It's good.
Getting in a flow.